Hi and welcome back. This is episode 33 of fearmeitsbre. I'm Brie and we're going to talk about some fun reactionary stuff today involving Kamala Harris, one of my favorite people, the Sparkle Creed, because that's apparently a thing. We're also going to talk about there's some debris found from the Titan, so I pulled up an article on that because I found that interesting. And we're also going to talk about they're coming for your kids and why that's a good thing per every single leftist talking point of inflation, why that's a good thing. Gas prices are going up, why that's a good thing. They're coming for your kids, why that's a good thing. So before we get started on all that, you can find me on most social media places at fearmeitsbre. You can find me on Rumble as well if you're not watching on Rumble already and would like to switch over there. My only issue with that is my account's kind of funky. So when I created my Rumble account, for some bizarre reason, it created two accounts, I guess. I don't know. Like, I post my videos twice under fearmeitsbre and Center Conserve Mom, which both have separate followings, and it's confusing. If you do go to that, try and follow the one that says fearmeitsbre as the channel, because that is the one that I'm trying to maintain, and delete the second slew of videos because I can't figure out how to fix it. I've tried. So if anybody has information on how to fix something like that, please let me know. And I'm trying to include the Rumble link more when I post things. So bear with me a little bit today as well, because I'm still a little funky here with my being able to move quickly through things because, I just am. I've repositioned some stuff, my camera, well, at least where I'm sitting to the camera, because as I said yesterday, my computer monitor, my big monitor where I normally read articles and look at stuff, if I'm facing it in the desk, I would have to be doing this to be facing it straight on. My camera is kitty cornered over here and my laptop is right here. When I look down like this, I'm looking at the laptop. So I have everything on the laptop so I can try and like do this more fluidly. So we'll see if it works out. I'm hoping it works. But let's head into the Kamala Harris junk because that's interesting to me. And I would like to do that without getting copyrighted, but we'll see what ends up happening just because there's music in it. So Kamala decided that, it's the anniversary of Stonewall, which was a big riot, LGBTQ riot, 50 some odd years ago that they're commemorating the memory of and all that. So what did I just do? Oh my gosh. She went to this, right? She went to this event for it. She spoke there. She hung out there. And she has a very cringy video promoting it. So we're going to watch that video because, like I said, it's cringy. So I'll turn myself down. Bear with me while I jump between my volume and this volume, because otherwise you're stuck with a very annoying echo. So I'll turn myself down now and we'll start that video, which I will try and pause throughout so I don't get copyright struck by it, because I've had that happen before and it's incredibly annoying to fix.
I like it.
Yes!
I like
this is
it.
the song of the summer, okay? There she is. 54 years, standing right here. We fought for our rights.
Okay, so it has been 54 years since Stonewall happened. And like we said, Kamala is there to celebrate with them. All right, I'm just going to do this because I think it's easier for the sake of the video. So let's go back into that.
Unbelievable. Tell us something that we can be optimistic about this Pride season.
We are all in this together.
First of all, did you see how she jumped when he was like, tell us something we can... She was like, what? I'm supposed to talk? Like, that's what that felt like. And what is this? We are all in this together. I mean, you can support a group without being a part of it, right? I guess. But I hate this whole straight person syndrome where it's like, you are not LGBTQ. You're not a part of this community. What is we are in this together? You're not fighting for anything that they're claiming they're fighting for. You're literally just there because if you're not, it looks bad. And you're there to be like, look how woke I am. Give me brownie points. Look, I'm hanging out with the inn that there was a big gay riot at long time ago that I wasn't involved in and didn't care about at the time. So it's annoying, the level of pandering that they do with these things, where it's like, it feels a bit like wearing white to somebody else's wedding, where this party's not for you. Why are you in attendance? But anyway, that's just what they do.
Okay.
We are fighting for the ideals of our country.
No, you're not. The ideals of our country are not, let's dance in the streets naked. Let's have topless people at the White House. Let's have... Some of the videos that I've seen this weekend from that big pride parade are unspeakable, and I'm not going to share them because they'd be ripped down from YouTube, but those are not the ideals of our country. That's not what you're fighting for here. Sorry to break it to you, Kamala. I think you should kind of brush up on the ideals of your country a little.
Believe in its promise of equality and freedom. We are not going to be deterred. We are not going to tire.
Nope.
We're not going to throw up our hands. We're going to roll up our sleeves.
To me,
That's like my favorite part of the video. We're not going to throw up our hands. As she throws up her hands, we're going to roll up our sleeves. What does that even mean? Get down in the nitty gritty. You have all the same right. Like, there was a time where homosexual people did not have rights to get married, to whatever. And where I'm a Christian, I still don't believe that a homosexual marriage is a marriage. But under American law, they have all been granted those rights now. They're literally not fighting for anything anymore. There is no fight here. You have everything. At this point, most pride celebrations are wagging your butt at somebody in the street, wearing fetish gear, men peeing into other men's mouths, unspeakable things where it's no longer the civil rights movement. It's just, I want to show off my sexual fetishes, so let's go do it in the streets because I can be nude in the street right now and nobody will say a thing because I'll say, it's for pride, it's for pride. Yeah, so that's all it is right now. That's all it is, and that's what she is supporting all of this.
Stonewall means strength in numbers.
Yeah.
Every time you put a rock on that wall, we become stronger and
That's
stronger
right.
and stronger. And you put your rock here today. Thank you.
How were the tips this weekend?
Very good.
Very good. Wow.
People are very good at this. Yes.
Anyway, that was weird. I think I had that too loud. Sorry if it was clipping. I happened to look over and see that it was, so hopefully for the next video it's a little better. That was bizarre. Yeah. Just the level of pandering, again, is ridiculous to me, where it's... Nothing is genuine. It's not genuine. She's not there out of the genuineness of her heart. She wouldn't probably know what that was if she wasn't told to go there and make a scene to get on the news, to win votes. So that's something that just annoys me. I know that there are some genuinely good people out there. You can probably count on one hand the people in politics who actually are genuine and mean what they say. She is not one of them, so never trust her or believe her when she says anything. Heaven forbid she becomes president. I don't think that's going to happen, but stranger things have happened, right? So after we looked at that monstrosity of Kamala Harris's embarrassing antics, we're going to look at the NBC News article. I'm going to hop over here and I'm going to pull that up, and then I already had it pulled up. I already had the screen open. Wow. Again, I'm used to that stuff being down here and stuff being up there, and it's disorienting, but I'll get used to a setup and I'll be able to run this a little smoother as I go. We're coming for your children chant at NYC drag merch elicits outrage, but activists say it's taken out of context. Okay. Organizers say the NYC drag march is meant to be lighthearted and to poke fun at anti-LGBTQ sentiment. I don't know. I watched the video and it didn't really seem like it was lighthearted or poking fun. Participants holding the banner at the drag march. There's probably some nude people in there, honestly, but I don't think YouTube will pick it up. Over the weekend, a short video circulated widely on social media of an unidentified person at New York City Pride March during Pride festivities saying, "We're coming for your children." In the 21-second clip, circulated by right-wing streamer channel, dozens of people march in the streets and are clearly heard chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're not going shopping," but one voice that is louder than the crowd, it is not clear whose or whether the speaker was a member of the LGBT community, is heard saying at least twice, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." I watched that video, and from what I remember, it was more than just one person saying it. So let's play that video real quick and see what... Also, are they saying the right-wing news outlet was Timcast News? Because they're not a right-wing news outlet. I hate to break it to NBC. So let's play that video real quick for context, and then I'll continue on with that article. Sorry about the boobies. At least they had tape over their nipples, but still. Okay, so that was more than one person saying, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children." So I don't know what this article thinks that it's doing, but it's definitely misconstruing a few things. To conservative pundits, activists, lawmakers, the video confirmed the allegations they've levied in recent years that the LGBTQ community is grooming children. But to Brian Griffin, the original organizer of the NYC Drag March, if that's the worst they heard, it's only because he wasn't there this year. Griffin said he chanted obscene things in the past like, "Kill, kill," I don't know if I can repeat this, "KKK, we're coming to K the mayor," and joked about public hair and toys during marches. People at Drag March regularly sing "God is a lesbian." "It is all just words," Griffin said. "It is all presented to fulfill their worst stereotype of us." I don't know. That didn't really seem... The "Coming for Your Children" chant has been used for years at Pride events, according to longtime March attendees and gay rights activists, who said it's one of the many provocative expressions used to regain control of slurs against LGBT people. In this case, they said, right-wing activists are jumping on a single video to weaponize an out-of-context remark to further stigmatize the queer community. What happened to "We're not coming for your children"? We don't care. We're not coming for your children. Don't worry, you silly conservatives. No. That's not the only time that I've heard them say, "We're coming for your kids. We're coming for your children." To watch any TikToker on this subject, any trans, queer, whatever TikToker on this subject, most of them say outright in their videos, "We're here for your kids, and there's nothing you conservatives or you parents or you this can do about it because we're their chosen family." Yeah, tell me that doesn't happen. Conservative politicians and pundits have increasingly referred to advocates for LGBTQ rights as groomers, associating people who oppose laws that restrict drag performances or classroom discussions of gender identity with pedophiles. It is not just about, are you a boy or a girl? Okay. Drag performances are meant to be sexual. Gender identity. Okay, so genderqueer, this book is gay. Books that tell kids how to use gay dating apps and sex toys. Yeah, that's something that kids should be reading in 5th grade. Sure. Would you put a Playboy in their classroom? Probably not, but you would literally let them read, which I've seen pages from some of these, a book telling you how to, I'm trying to keep it family friendly, but do graphic sexual acts on another person at 10 years old. Makes sense. Makes total sense. The charge is an echo of the charge is an echo of a decades-old trope anti-gay activists have used to paint the community as a threat to the country's youths, an allegation that some advocates say endanger LGBTQ people, and the intense reaction to the video has scared some attendees who insisted the quip has been taken out of context. "It is really scary to us," said Fussy Lomaine, a drag performer and activist who was at this year's march and declined to give their real name because of safety concerns. "It doesn't represent everybody. It represents that individual." There was more than one person chanting it. Did they not watch the video, NBC? I thought it was a dumb idea, and I started chanting on top of it with alternative verses. The video elicited outrage from right-wing pundits who called the marchers demonic and evil. GOP members of Congress tweeted it showed legislation to outlaw gender-affirming care. It is not affirming. If you were to affirm somebody's gender, you would be saying, "Listen, sweetie, I know that things are hard right now. I know you're going through puberty, and I know it's weird. but you will get through this. God made you the way that you are for a reason. You don't have to chop anything off. It's mentally a hard time for you right now, but you can get through this, because prior to 2004, 2006, the cure for gender dysphoria was go through puberty. And for the handful, the teeny minuscule percentage that wasn't, you could have therapy, you could have some kind of counseling, you could have mental health services for them. It wasn't until after that time when they started saying, let's experiment with hormones and see what that does to the kids instead, the numbers started skyrocketing of curing gender dysphoria by making these children something that they are not and mutilating them. GOP members of Congress tweeted that it showed legislation to outlaw gender-affirming care is warranted, and the Florida Republican Party claimed this is what the Florida Dems want in Florida. An organizer for this year's drag march, known as Huckleberry Ken, they gotta come up with better names, who also performs in drag as Sister Lottie Da. Seriously? Declined an interview request, similarly citing fears for his safety in light of the backlash of the video clip. But he said in an email, coming for your children chant was just a bad joke that is being used for the interest of parasitic, predatory political propaganda and policy. We won't tolerate harm toward any child and advocate for the protection and encouragement of every child to be able to live their true, authentic lives free from fear and persecution, Huckleberry said. The NYC Drag March, which starts in the East Village neighborhood of Manhattan and ends at the Stonewall Inn, again, Stonewall, and the West Village, is smaller and more provocative demonstration that is separate from the larger televised NYC Pride Parade that took place on Sunday, where we saw a lot of naked people gyrating on one another and children. Griffin, an activist who performs as Harmony Moore, organized the first NYC Drag March in 1994 in response to organizers of the Stonewall 25 demonstration, like probably the 25th anniversary is what that means, who asked people not to show up in drag or leather to make their event more palatable to certain communities. The drag march is intended to push against the notion that LGBTQ community needs to assimilate into heterosexual standards and is less serious than their pride events. It's about fun. It's about performance. Yeah, that's why we saw boobies flopping around there. That's lewdness in front of many people, including children. A leaderless group of activists with the Radical Fairies, a loose-knit LGBTQ collective, and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. That's another very sacrilegious. They dress up as like drag nuns, and it's disturbing. A charity and protest group have helped organize the march in more recent years, according to Huffington Post. There are no sponsorships by companies at the drag march. We're here, we're queer, we're not going shopping is a chant that has long been used by LGBTQ activists. At a 1990 march, organized by ACT UP, a group that demanded more government resources to address AIDS, the AIDS crisis, protesters chanted it as they walked around a downtown San Francisco shopping mall. That's weird. The chant was also used by AIDS activists in Chicago demonstrations in the 90s. According to multiple drag march regulars, the coming for your children variation has been used before. No kidding. We see it all the time. Last year, Gothamist reported people at the drag march chanted 10% is not enough. Groom, groom, groom. Oh, they're just doing it to be silly because they don't, the stereotypes that you guys have of them. Well, you're kind of confirming that stereotype. If you don't want to be stereotyped as this thing, then maybe stop pushing this thing and using it as your battle cry. Carla Jay, the first female chair of New York's Gay Liberation Front and professor emerita at Pace University, said it's a strategy to take the sting out of accusations lobbying against the LGBTQ community. That, or there are some very creepy people within that community who are embracing their identities as pedophiles. I grew up in the time where it was considered really bad to be called gay or lesbian or anything like that. It's not that way anymore. It's so common. Nobody really cares, right? Nobody cares anymore. We live in a world where it's not going away, right? There's going to be people who are gay. There's going to be lesbians. But when you start pushing this crap on people, that is the problem here. And what we did is we reclaimed the word, she said. Think of the Dyke March. These were words that could not be printed. Chants at pride marches, Jay said, are usually meant for more of the compatriots in the crowd, not for people watching later on in video. Yeah, but it's on video. The internet is a thing. What I say here and now is going to be there forever, right? You be careful what you say in this world now, because it is now plastered everywhere and you can never get rid of it, right? So maybe take that into consideration, right? If you're in a public place, you're basically consenting to being filmed. I don't always approve of it. There's instances where it's like, please don't film me, but take that into consideration. That is a risk that you will encounter. So maybe don't say stuff like that. in a public place when you know people are filming you. The person who said this in a march isn't the person who came up with the idea. The person in the march is saying, go ahead, call me this. Why do I care? She continued. I would care if somebody said that about me. I would be like, no, I'm not, unless I actually was. And then it's like, oh, well, you're just confirming this. You're confirming the bias. The person trying to destigmatize this and claim their own power. You don't want to destigmatize grooming children and sexually abusing children. The person trying to destigmatize this and claim their own power, you can't blame the victim here. And that's what the right wing is doing. The victims are the children, not you. Photos of this year's march show on social media people with signs reading, groom, sissies, and trans, your greatest fear, your biggest fantasy. These are the words they've used all our lives to manipulate and control us, Griffin said, and now we control them and see them for the falsehoods they are. The victims here are the children, not the people. They're allowed to march naked in the streets and nobody is stopping them. Half the time, the police take part in it, right? If it's New York City, the cops take part in it. They don't care. It is the children that are being victimized here. It is the children that are being abused here. The Libertarian Mises Caucus had a great tweet about it that I retweeted that I'm going to just run over to my Twitter page. I think it's like the most recent thing I've retweeted. Yes, it is. Here it is. So it's the Libertarian Party, not the Mises Caucus. So they tweeted, children aren't pawns to be used for new cultural revolution. They can't consent to sex, military service, or sex reassignment surgery. All three are blatant child abuse, and they are 100% right on that. This is outright child abuse that is promoted, and it's celebrated, and it's disgusting. If adults want to do weird adult things, whatever, this is a free country. You've been warned. I don't approve. This is ridiculous. This is harmful to you and your health. But you are an adult and you make your own decisions because you are a consenting adult. These children are not consenting adults, and this is disturbing. All right, we're going to move on from that, and we're going to go over to the Wreck of the Titan and check out that little article about it real quick. It's a pretty short one, just because there's a few images that I found interesting and a little bit of informational contextual information. Informational context. I don't know. I'm tired. So we're going to look at that real quick. We're going to hop over here. Titan debris pictured for first time since implosion killed all 5 on board. Let me just scroll real quick and see. All right, I'm going to put my floating head back down here because I think that's the best way to see stuff. I'm also not centered very well. I guess I didn't sit in the correct spot this time, so oh well. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, you can see a little more, I think, than before. I gotta work on the stuff over there at some point. All right. Debris from the mangled wreck of the Titan submersible has been pictured being brought ashore in Canada 10 days after it vanished. So real quick, I'll just play this video. It looks like there it is on a crane. It's just a 30-second video. They're lowering part of it. So they've got it. It's here. And then we'll go back into the article. Crews unloaded chunks of twisted metal from the Horizon Arctic ship at the Canadian Coast Guard pier in St. John's, Newfoundland this morning. The debris was then covered before being lifted onto trucks by cranes and taken away. The pictures come 10 days after the submersible vanished, sparking an international search effort for the vehicle. It was later determined that the sub had imploded shortly after embarking on its journey, killing those on board. Now an investigation into the incident by a group of international agencies is taking place. U.S. maritime officials said a report will be released with the aim of making submersibles safer worldwide. It sounds like, honestly, they were fairly, they weren't as terrifying. I mean, in the article we read yesterday, James Cameron made a point to be like, you take your life into your hands when you go on one of these, just like when you go into a space shuttle. You never know what's going to happen. But the likelihood of this happening, the odds and chances of it were increased because they decided to skimp on safety measures. And he pointed that out yesterday in the article that we read. So here's a few images of it. That's them lifting it. That's really sad. My primary goal is to prevent similar occurrences by making the necessary recommendations to enhance the safety of maritime domain worldwide, said Jason Newbar, the Coast Guard's chief investigator. The Coast Guard said it had convened its highest level probe into the incident, a Marine Board of Investigation, MBI. Nurbar added, the MBI is already in its initial evidence collection phase, including debris salvage operations at the incident site. Canada, which has assisted in the search for the Titan, has also launched an investigation into the disaster. A final report on the Titan's doomed voyage will be issued by the International Maritime Organization. All 5 people on the sub were killed when it catastrophically imploded about an hour and 45 minutes after embarking on its journey. Debris from the vehicle was located at about 12,500 feet and 1,600 feet away from the wreck of the Titanic, the Coast Guard said last week. That's so strange to think about, like, 111 years later, you're going to die in the same spot. Like, that's so weird. The 5 passengers aboard the Titan included Shazda Dawood and his 19-year-old son, Sulman Dawood, researcher Paul Henry Nargolo, CEO and OceanGate founder Stockton Rush, and British billionaire Hamish Harding. The announcement of the implosion ended the search for the victims, but sparked questions about the safety of the submersible. Court documents show that OceanGate, the company who owned the unoperated Titan, was warned about the possibility of catastrophic safety problems. So inside the missing Titan sub, we had titanium outer hemispheres. Onboard health analysis monitoring system provides early warning detection for pilot, which apparently sounds like it notified them a few seconds before it imploded, and then it was too late at that point because it's not a good system to use. Powered by 4 electric thrusters, 2 vertical and 2 horizontal, rear section is unmanned and contains oxygen tanks and electronics. No seat in vessels, and passengers are barefoot, so they had to sit cross-legged, 5 people, 1 pilot plus 4 crew. Pilots used game controllers to steer the craft, and 380 millimeter acrylic viewport. So that was that little thing there that you see if you're looking. That was the tiny window. Life support was 96 hours for a crew of 5. Speed 3 knots. Max depth would have been 13,123 feet, and we know I just read the seating part already. In a 2019 blog post titled, "Why Isn't the Titan Classified?" OceanGate claimed innovation as the reason the sub didn't align with industry standards. By definition, innovation is outside of an already accepted system, the blog read. It continued, however, this does not mean that OceanGate does not meet standards where they apply, but it does not mean that innovation falls outside of the existing industry paradigm. Video of the porthole of the Titan being lifted by crews shot by Allison King at VOCM News. So, yep, that's sad that, there were people inside that thing. And they're gone. I don't know if any body stuff has been recovered. I doubt it would be, just because there's probably nothing left to recover, sadly. This is a really short episode. Did I go over everything? I hear my daughter, so I think I have to be done. It looks like I did cover everything. I'm just flitting around through these things. Yep. So we covered everything. We're going to let it be a shorter episode today. I have plans still of being on tomorrow, and sorry, I'm just trying to fix something I messed up. Okay. I do have plans of being on tomorrow and talking again about more stuff. If you have any suggestions, throw them at me. You can send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram, or you could just comment when I post a Twitter thread saying any topic ideas, because I love it when people do that, because sometimes I'll have like 1 or 2 topics planned out, or even all my topics planned out, but I'll look at it and be like, oh, that's gonna make for like a really short episode. I wonder if there's anything else I could throw in. Does anybody have any ideas? It's super helpful. Like, today is only going to be about a 30-minute episode, which is okay. I mean, I'm planning on coming back again tomorrow and then doing an episode again on Friday, because this week it works out for me to be able to do it on Friday. So I don't mind having the shorter one, and people probably like hearing me less or having less time that they have to sit here and listen to me. So it works out great, right? Probably. But if you have any ideas or anything that you would like to hear me talk about, definitely send me something, because it's nice to have that. Oh, I was gonna say, James Gunn, I forgot, he cast his new Superman movie. I'm not a fan of the casting. I'm okay with it in the sense of, let me try and find a good Superman legacy cast. I guess we'll go with Hollywood Reporter. We'll just do that real quick and then we'll wrap up. So let's hop back on over to the other scene. So Hollywood Reporters they're going to have... Oh, this is May. What the heck? That was really weird. So David Cornsweet is going to be playing Superman in the James Gunn, and that's what he looks like. I think it works. Seeing pictures of him shirtless and stuff, because my husband were like analyzing this together last night, where we were like intrigued by it. He could use to put on a little more muscle. Like if you compare him to Henry Cavill, it's like, okay, yeah, not quite as big. He does kind of look like him. The article even says it here. He looks like a younger version of him, which works because isn't it supposed to be a younger Superman, I believe? So that works. I think he'll do pretty good. I like what I'm seeing. I'd like to see him a little bit bigger because you think of Superman and it's like, you know. I don't like the casting for Lois Lane though. It is the lady from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And I don't know. Rachel Brosnahan, or I can't remember her name, like how you pronounce it. Here we go. That's better. I'm not a huge fan of this because if you look up their birthdays, she's a few years older than him. And it's weird because they had the same problem, I feel like, in Man of Steel, casting Amy Adams as Lois Lane, where Amy Adams is beautiful and I love her, but age-wise, they wanted to have a franchise that keeps going and going and going like Marvel for the next decade or so. Amy Adams was too old. She aged out. Henry Cavill, yes, he was aging too, but he was aging very... Not that she wasn't aging gracefully, but something about it didn't work. I thought she was far too old to be cast for Lois, even though she did a good job. I think the same thing about her. She might do fantastic, but if they're intending for this to go on for like a decade and be like another Marvel kind of thing, DC's Marvel kind of thing, she's going to age out before he's going to age into the character, and she's going to age out of the character before it's done, I feel like. She's a good actor though. I like her, but I don't know. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American ways. He is kindness in a world that thinks of kindness as old-fashioned. This is a star-making moment for Cornsweet, who's Superman, whose marquee idol looks and Midwestern charm help him anchor Hollywood, where he played an aspiring actor moonlighting as a sex worker, okay, and the buttoned-up 1940s. He earned widespread acclaim for his breakout performance in Netflix's The Politician, as well as celebrated horror indie Pearl. He also wrote, directed, and starred in the web sketch comedy series Moe and Jerry Weather. He will next be seen opposite Natalie Portman in Apple's The Lady in the Lake. He's reported by CAA and Jackaway Austin Tyman Wertheimer. Something name, blah, blah, blah. Brosnan has well-established profile, mantle of gold, I don't know how to say her name, Brosnahan. I keep saying it like wrong, I guess. Has a well-established profile and mantle of golden trophies for work on Amazon's long-running The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I watched the first season of. I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. And then I started the second season and I never finished it. I just fell out of it. It got boring. She broke out in Netflix's House of Cards. She also recently starred opposite Benedict Cumberbatch in Lionsgate's The Courier, along with Christoph Waltz and William Dafoe in director Walter Hill's 2022 Western Dead for a Dollar. She was rep by CEA and okay. So, I don't know. I think the casting is all right. He'll age into the character and she will age out of the character way too soon is what I think is going to happen. I like that they're having a dark-haired Lois again, or a brown-haired Lois again, because after Amy Adams, all the depictions of Lois were ginger, when typically Lois, I think, had like black hair. So I like that they're doing that. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was interesting and I was going to bring it up and I forgot to, but I will be done now. I'm planning on being back again tomorrow, 6 p.m. on YouTube and Rumble. If you are interested, you can follow me at fearmeitsbre on most social media platforms. So have a great afternoon, and I will see everybody tomorrow.